respond by laughing. And then she would now be like, so nǹkan tí mo ń sọ yìí ẹ̀rín ló bá dé, like, are you serious, or with all these things are laughing? So I've learned not to laugh now. Even though sometimes they are funny to me, because I'll be like, what don't so you is, but I've learned how to listen more and then learn the keywords from what she's saying, and then probably later then know how to sit down and communicate all of those things together.
Thank you so much. Learning to listen, communicate, resolve your differences, and live in peace. Okay, so I have 2 more people who want to talk to me. Okay. No, it's for him. Yes, sir.
Was him on? Well, even if I've not learned anything, stand up, let them see you. Stand up now, let them see you. I've learned a lot, as you can see.
The other room everything is together. The lessons has been applied on her, and we can see. The Lord is good. There's some things you cannot cover. Right, okay, so I'll take one more. Okay, good.
Okay, so good morning, church. Okay, I think I've always been around. If I've missed any heartbeats, maybe 1 or 2. So I may not be able to say exactly this is what I've learned, but I know that those things stay in my subconscious. So, but there was a particular one that was striking for me when you were talking about being kind to your spouse. So I know you know a bit of me, maybe at the... So sometimes I'm not gentle, and I want to be gentle, but you know, the way I will give it to you, you will hurt. So my husband is gentle. So there was a time I was just I don't know, I was just hot all over the house. I was just angry. I don't know who offended me. It happened for a while. And one day like that, you know, I want to say yes, but I will just say no. I want to say no, I will say yes. My husband will just be on his own. And so, but the striking one for me was, you know, you said be kind to your spouse. That word will come. I'll say, Moshi kind now. Moshi normal things. So I can share as a woman. So, but there was this night we were on the bed. So I can't remember. I think I was still hot. I was still in that very bad mood. It lasted for a while, and it was like the atmosphere in this house is not good. It's not. He was shy. He was complaining, and then he was like, "Can't you? Let's just be kind to each other. Don't let us be hostile." So when I just heard, "Let's just be kind to each other," it was just like Coach Kemi saying, "Be kind to your spouse." I was like, So I've been hearing this thing, and that thing just changed. Not like I didn't want to. I still wanted to continue in that, because sometimes, you know, you need to nag these men to do things. Yeah, that's right. Sometimes you need to. Because yesterday I was still saying, when I used to nag, you would have done things sharp. But now that I'm trying to be matured, won't take me for granted, you know. So, but we are learning and we are growing. And I don't know, you can say, Shao, maybe I've been kind or not, but I think I've been kind. Thank you.
So where is your husband? Let's just find out. He's not around. You know, there's some kindness. You know, you want to be kind, but you still want to pinch the person. Abi? Be kind. Okay, that's a very good one. Thank you for the feedback. I'm glad to hear that we are all taking home the lessons and really putting them to good use, because that's the essence of we coming here, you know, every month to learn. And like I say, we need to keep learning, right? Okay, so today we'll be touching on conflict. We'll be looking at constructive ways to manage conflict in our relationship. Better ways to handle conflict in our relationship, in our marriages. So I'm married. I've had a conflict with my husband this month. So I've had conflict with my spouse in the past 3 months. Shoot up your hand. Me, I've not had conflict too. We've just been, everything has been okay. Thank you for being honest. Okay, so I've not had conflict with my husband this month. We should celebrate that too, isn't it? Okay, so I said 3 months. So I like the fact that some of us raised our hand, which is conflict would happen. Conflict happens in relationships. True or true? Conflict happen. Even amongst the best of couples, among the best of spouses. So what is conflict really when we hear conflict? What is conflict? Anybody wants to help? Put water, the water is not enough. So conflict is that process of trying to, resolve a dispute between two people or more. So we are talking relationships. Is that strategy where we try to resolve this misunderstanding, and everyone involved must come to a satisfactory, place that the conflict has been well managed. When we want to resolve a dispute, we want to resolve a disagreement or a fight, and at the end of the day, at the end of we resolving it, the most important thing is that the two of us feel fair, feel heard, and we feel satisfied that that process has been fairly, managed. So conflict would happen in our relationship. It is not if, it is when. Because some people may think that, why am I being pessimistic? Why am I being negative? Why can't I believe that? You're welcome, ma. Good afternoon. Why can't I just trust that everything will be fine, even if I love this person? So someone shared a video with me, I think last week. Maybe some of you have seen the video as well. Are we together? So this lady was talking about personality differences. And she said, why would a counselor or maybe a preacher, a pastor say that, a certain personality can marry another? That the person was being pessimistic to say that, why should a choleric or something? And that their counselor told them, since the both of you are strong-willed, since the both of you have strong personalities, let the conflict begin. Maybe some of you saw the video. And so, she made a lot of sense, a lot of points. But when it comes to conflict, our personality also influences how we respond and how we, our disposition when we are in a disagreement with someone. So what am I trying to say in essence? Even when I say that conflict would happen in every marriage, it's not that I'm being negative, right? That's the reality. So when you have that knowledge, then what do you need to do? You need to then have the skill to manage conflict because it would come. So why do people end their marriages? Why do people walk out from their relationship? It's because conflict happened and they couldn't come to an agreement. They couldn't resolve it. So when they say unreconcilable differences, maybe not so exactly. Is that two people can't just resolve a situation. And we have seen people who can't maintain relationship, who can't sustain relationship because they lack the skill to resolve issues amicably. So somebody wants to say a mind anyhow as it's coming to her. Somebody wants to give a piece of his mind as it's coming to him because he's angry. So even when we fight, it is not that your husband is bad or that your wife is bad. When we quarrel, it's not that something is wrong with your marriage. Sometimes you work with young couples, especially those of us of faith. We keep quarreling. It's the devil. We keep quarreling. Maybe we shouldn't be married. We keep quarreling. Maybe I married the wrong person. No. The fact that you are a human being and you are married to another human being is already complex. There will be differences. True or true? The fact that I'm a woman and you are a man, there will be what? So what do we fight about as couples? Give me examples. Remember the last conflict you had with your husband. What was it about? We fight about money. What else? Food. We disagree about rules, enforcement of rules, right? Parenting style, yes. What else do we disagree about? What else do we fight about? Sweeping, chores, domestic chores, dustbin, sweeping. Somebody needs to sweep and get out the trash. Pumping machine issues. It's causing conflict. We are getting somewhere. So what else do we fight about? Social media. Some people are on social media more than they should. And it's causing, conflict. Candy Crush. Number one. So who is the Candy Crush here? Okay, she's the master. What else? Football. It is happening in some quarters as well. Z-word. It's happening in some quarters. Dressing, appearance. Appearance is causing conflict. How I want you to look, how you are appearing. What else do we fight about? Home management. Yes. Who does what? Who wash? Who cook? Who does laundry? Who irons? Who take care of the children? Those things causes conflict. Tell me a few more. In-laws. That's that soy area, but it causes conflict as well. We have different things that confront us. And as married couples, we need to negotiate every day so that we don't get crazy with all of these things we have mentioned. So upscaling on conflict resolution is very essential. I wouldn't have been able to teach on conflict resolution if I was a year old in marriage. I got it wrong. So for many years, I wouldn't teach on conflict because I knew I needed to also do what? Not that I was abusive. I wasn't abusive. I would nag. I would just be silent. And silent treatment is even worse. So talk. Let's kukuma hear you and scatter everything and pack it. Rather than you being silent. Because nobody knows what you are even imagining upstairs. And my husband was frustrated. Oh yes, I frustrated him. Because the answer is nothing. When he asks me, I'm okay. But everything all over me is saying there is war. There is about to be a blast. Are we good? So how do we then, because I have had to also work with couples during couple therapy. No, not couple therapy. I've had to work with divorcees, single men and women who have been once married, who have shared their experiences of regretting how they managed conflict in their previous relationship that ended the marriage. They fought over things that they shouldn't fight over. They couldn't resolve issues faster, amicably, and then move on. Right? They allowed issues to fester. And then over time, it became a cancer that eventually destroyed the relationship because they couldn't nip it in the bud. So we are going to fight standard. But how do we fight? How can we fight constructively? How can we fight fairly? How can we fight like Christians? How can we fight and not bruise and not damage and not avenge? Because some people want to fight to kill, to destroy, and just fight to finish. Am I communicating? So it is not that we will not have conflict. Ask any couple doing great in their relationship. They have just learned what? The skill of how to resolve, how to talk, because resolving conflict takes a lot of humility and empathy. Because most of the times when you are angry, what happens? The emotions are high. Isn't it? The emotions are high. You want to give it pa, 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 pa. So when all those things we have talked about that we have mentioned are the reasons we fight, do you know that they are not really why we fight? There is something, that is more fundamental, but shows up in cooking, in pumping machine, in generator, in Candy Crush and all. People don't fight. It's their personalities that fight. People don't fight. It's their values that clash. Am I communicating, friends? We don't fight. It's our belief, our concept, our ideas that really, that is in conflict. That is the way I think this thing should be. That is the way my partner thinks it should be. Are we together? And because you don't agree on that thing, that is a fight. So it is not the thing it's not really the food we are fighting about. It's not really the children that we are fighting about. But when we say we are fighting about parenting style, someone thinks we should do something in a certain way. And the other person thinks, why not this way? So what is happening to them? They have different beliefs about that situation. And so when I say personality as well, yes, our personality is because the way we behave, the way we respond to situations is also what is embedded in our personality. The way a melancholy, for instance, will respond to a situation is clearly different from the way a choleric will. True or true? So your wife is not bad, she's not harsh, she's not loud, she's not rude. It's a personality. However, that needs to be refined and upgraded and better, managed. Am I communicating, friends? So if you look, just quickly assess yourself, the last conflict you had. What do you think was the problem? Was it personality? Was it ego? Was it your value? Was it belief? Was it your background? Was it your experiences that is causing you to have the view that is different from your partner's? Because conflict is actually what is good. We can use conflict to the betterment, the improvement, enhancing the quality of our relationship if we do conflict well. So nobody should be afraid to confront conflicts. Though different personality and our different conflict resolution styles. Because some people want to avoid talking about an issue when it happens. True or true? Some people want to avoid it. When something happens and is affecting them, it's giving them some emotional distress, they'll say, okay, whatever you say. They want to avoid it. And that is not a constructive way to deal with conflict. It is not a healthy way. Some people want to talk about the conflict, but they want to talk about it to scatter it. That at the end of the day, that conflict leads to what? Leads to what? War or another conflict. They couldn't resolve that, and now they have another degree to deal with. And some people come to that table of conversation, they want to just, whatever you say, compromise. And that is also not a healthy way. Am I communicating? But people do that because they want peace. But whatever, do you understand? I agree with you, whatever you say. I know I was wrong, I'm sorry. Whatever you say, just let it pass. And they think they are being good, they are being nice, they are being wise. That should be there is peace. But the fact that there is quietness doesn't mean there is peace. The fact that everywhere is calm and cool doesn't mean there is peace. The fact that you are not fighting doesn't mean there is peace. Because someone can just tell you, okay, you know the way we do our okay. And you are trying to figure out, is it okay, or it's okay, or okay. And some people come to the table of discussion and they are saying all the other things, but not the issue at hand. And the person realizes, welcome, sir, good afternoon, sir. And the other party is like, can we just deal with this matter? But what we have also found out is those issues that woman is talking about, or that man is talking about, are issues that have not been listened to, that has not been resolved. So we all need to what? Develop the skill to manage conflict. Because don't you want peace, really? Don't you want, to have a beautiful time with your partner that you can say so I was in a meeting one time, I was discussing on conflict. And so I think I've asked a question about when was the last time you fought your partner or something. And the man said, it's been a long time. Oh. And everybody was really positive. He said, it's been a long time that we fought. It's been a long time. When was the last time? It's been a very long time. And he said, we fought 2 days ago. And everybody said, are you okay? And you're not siding. He said, yes, I know what I'm saying. I said, that's not a healthy relationship. If you have to be fighting every day or every 2 days. No, that's not healthy. Because marital situation is affecting people's mental health. It is. So let's look at a few ways at which, we can improve. We can constructively manage issues when they happen. But the first thing we must know is that you want to also try to avoid conflict happening. Conflict is going to happen. True or true? But is it also possible that we reduce the frequency? It is. That we avoid it. And that is you being aware of yourself and being aware of your partner's stressors and triggers. If you are aware as a person that these are few things my partner doesn't like after living with this person for a few months or years. Am I communicating? That my wife would not like this. My husband would not fancy this. He would be upset about this. So when you are aware, you would what? You'll be proactive to prevent it from happening. So these certain things get to my husband. You are going to be a wicked person when you intentionally or deliberately. Yes, it might happen sometimes where it is really not what you intend to do. But what I'm trying to say is that let us also be mindful of the things we do that put our relationship into a what? Into a negative atmosphere. It could be the way you behave, the way you talk, the way you respond, the way you manage certain situation, or the way you look, or something your partner has complained about in previous times. Are we good? So be aware. You can't say you don't know what gets your wife angry. Maybe not everything. I remember working with a man, so I said, I don't know, until she opens her mouth to say, I don't know, that's wickedness. You don't know somebody is angry, that your partner is angry with somebody you have been married to 7, 8, 9, 10 years, is angry with you. That until she now sits you down every time to tell you, if you cannot read the mind, you can read the mood, isn't it? So you can't say you are living with someone in the house and that person is angry for 2, 3 days and you say you do not know. Because until the person tells you, you cannot know that the person is angry. You didn't ask, you didn't check up to say, are you okay? Are you fine? That normally I would know you would smile, you would cheer up, you would want to do certain things around the house, but your mood has been down. Because that's what some people say. If you don't tell me I don't know you are angry, it's a lie. It's because you are unkind. And you are not sensitive. And that's also someone who might not even be in tune with his own emotions. Because if you are not in tune with your own emotions, how can you connect with others? Are we good? So when our values fight, when our perspectives fight, when our personality, our culture, our trauma, some things we are fighting about, maybe one day we'll talk about that. Has nothing to do with your partner. They are just the internal struggle, internal war that we are dealing with personally, that we bring into our relationship, and it's showing up. Sometimes the way your husband responds to you triggers the way your dad, that you never liked, responds, talks to your mom or talks to you as a young girl, and you give it back. That's coming to me because I have a couple currently now, and that's the issue. Fantastic man married to a wonderful woman. And is a wonderful woman who has not come face to face with her own personal issues, and heal from her own traumas. But at every point in time, keeps seeing this guy as the father who was abusive, who was irresponsible, who was not nice, who was controlling. And so she couldn't just have a consistent, warm, beautiful relationship with this guy. Are we together? So conflict would happen. And some conflict happen because of hormonal imbalance. It has nothing to do with you, my brother. Relax. It took my husband years to know that there is something called PMS. It's the one for fuel that some men know. Are you talking about PMS for fuel? No. It's premenstrual syndrome. It happens to a lot of us. Some of us, it's pre your cycle. Some of us is between, some of us is after. My husband will say, I want jelly. Only time to manji every month. And he will just say jokingly, and the fight will start. Even me, I don't know why I'm fighting. I don't know why my body is like that. Why I'm feeling touchy or irritable. You're now complicating matter. So after a while, we'll not laugh about it. Hey, it's that time, Abby. Okay. Take it easy. So some quarrel has nothing to do about you. So if you don't know how to manage it, just be quarreling over what does not concern you. And sometimes his team is also losing. And you are not in the radar, you are not in the picture. We want in no Chelsea. Everything is not, everywhere is red. And they are crying. And you are trying to be nice. I wonder, what did I do? What's wrong with you? It has nothing to do with you. So sometimes just receive your peace and just walk away and calm down. There are some men that are quarreling with their wife every month. And it's just a cycle that is making her touchy or irritable. So different types of conflict would happen. And you know what? Over 60% of the conflict in our marriage are repetitive. They will keep reoccurring because they are hinged on personality clashes. So there are some conflicts we will resolve. Right? We'll resolve, talk about it, apologize, and it's in the past. Am I communicating? And there are some conflict that basically jaton by. Another face. It will happen again. Pastor says round 2. So there is no way we can resolve all the conflict. There is no way. Some conflicts, you just ignore it. Because they are little, they are minute, is not. Am I communicating? It doesn't carry any weight to cause any damage to anybody. There are some conflicts you have to sit down. This one, we have to talk about it and resolve it. And there are some you just dissolve. That is, just forget about this. It's okay. So there are different types of conflict. Some are situational. It just comes up once in a while. Or once in a lifetime, or once a year, and we let it go. But there are some that are perpetual. They keep coming. So if you want to live longer, you see those perpetual conflicts, you have to find a way to laugh about it sometimes when they happen. Yeah. You know, when he was talking about laughing, so I'm going to teach you a few tricks on, we call them the conflict hack. Everybody must have it. There must be something you have to de-escalate, to diffuse conflict. Every man, every woman must have it. When you already sense that your partner is getting angry, you must have something to, to diffuse that situation. Just that you must be sensitive. When someone is angry, it's not the time you now want to be saying, you're now angry. You are always angry. Why are you angry like this? And you want to diffuse situation. I'm sorry, you are just putting more what? More petrol. You must have those prompts. When you already sense your husband is not in a... You can just talk about something extremely different from that moment that will catch his attention and calm him down or calm her down. Am I communicating? It's not every time conflict wants to happen, you are also ready. Fire for fire. I will not hear, I will not take. And that conflict just lingers. 3 days, 7 days, 14 days, 1 month. And it begins to affect a whole lot of other things, other areas of our relationship. So how to resolve conflict? When they say they are teaching us problem resolving skills, it's something we need to know. It's not just for your work. We also need it at home. I can't count the amount of singles I've worked with that the only problem you have is just know how to manage situations. Just manage situations. Manage conflicts, manage disagreement. We have a terms and condition form that our clients sign when they come in, that you don't shout, you don't yell, you don't beat in the therapy room. They will read it and say they understand and sign. By the time session starts, sometimes I finish session, I have to just deliberately detox some of the things I hear. And it's not that it's happening. So I say, when nobody is even there, how would you cope? Big. You know, when they even speak in English, you are still okay. You are stupid. You will not even. So I'm like, you will still go back home and still make love? How? But you know, like they say, they forget. Okay, so few ways. You know, there's this very key element that we all need to, also understand when it comes to, the psychology of conflict. Anytime your partner is angry with you or because for something you've done, you must know that there is a story behind that feeling. There is a story behind the reaction you are getting from your husband or from your wife. Listen carefully now. And one of the things you also want to do is to be curious to find out the reason why this person feels this way. You want to find out why this person is so angry, so upset. Why you want to find out the reason. You want to really get that. You want to be curious. You don't want to invalidate what they feel. Which you can do by being observant. Being very observant when your partner is angry. Let me observe. This person I can see clearly he or she is not happy. What has happened? What's the story? And this means the person needs to communicate with you, or you perhaps find out based on, the issues surrounding whatever at that time. Am I communicating? So number one, be observant. We are talking on how to be better, conflict managers, how to resolve conflict in a constructive way. Be observant. That person is telling you something. The next thing you want to also find out is the feeling this person is feeling. I want to be able to interpret it. And also you want to find out there is a need this person is crying for. Observe what is happening. Validate the feeling that your partner has. And then find out the need. Except you are married to a crazy person. Someone who is angry is asking for something. True or true? Most of the time. Am I communicating? Find out that need. Oh, I'm hungry because you always come late and you don't call when you are coming back. Nobody knows where you are. I would like that you come back early so that I'm at rest. Or you call when you are. So when you apply these three to whatever scenario, you can play your own part, which is to validate that feeling and then to meet the need of that person. And if it is a need you cannot meet, maybe an unreasonable need or an unrealistic need, you have the conversation, you talk about it. Conflict would happen. Endeavor to reduce it from happening. Avoid the things that can put the both of you in a negative phase all the time. When your partner is angry, you don't belittle, you don't trivialize, you don't make it common. The first thing you want to do that shows that you are a loving person is that you want to validate what that person is feeling. How painful can it be when you are crying, you are in pain, and somebody says, Kenny? Because of what? You'll be crying like a baby. You want to say, I really want to hear what's making you so hot. I'm so even if it is not what you have done. The moment you are saying, I'm sorry for making you feel this way, The issue in front of you is already resolved to a higher degree. Am I making sense? And it's something we have to learn. Never invalidate anybody's feeling. The thing that is happening to her may be something you may take as inconsequential. If it happens to you, maybe not at the same intensity. Am I communicating? Validate the feeling. I'm sorry you feel this way. Don't say, because of that small thing. If it's me, I will not even feel it too. You should have grown past this level now. Why are you always angry over things like this? Because by the time you even validate that person's feeling and make them feel hard, you know what happens to them? They also grow. They grow because they can see that they can see the level of empathy that you have expressed towards them. Am I communicating? And that means you are approaching every conflict with the attitude that you want to resolve it. Approach every conflict with what? That attitude of let's settle. Let's settle it. Let's resolve it. Because sometimes I ask, are you fighting to end the marriage? Are you fighting that there is no marriage again? So you can fight dirty, it's fine. But no, we are talking about fighting fairly. Fighting to fight another day. Fighting to continue our marriage. Yeah, because I see people that they want to fight that they are done. And so it's very nasty. I'm done and I'm going to leave you scattered, shattered and battered. And I'm also speaking to the singles. So there's something I sometimes do during, some of my matchmaking classes. By the time I interview you, I speak to you, I sometimes ask you to go and talk to one of your favorite past ex, if it is okay to do. Especially if the person is still single. If the person is married, no, you don't want to go and be asking somebody's husband, blah, blah, blah. You really want to ask them to give you a feedback about your character. And most of the time when we do, maybe less than 10% of the time is nice. Am I communicating? Less than 10%. That look for your favorite ex, the one that, but why did the relationship end? Because we don't take stock. You don't even know that there are some behavioral issues that, and sometimes they come back and say that you are very bitter, you don't know how to forgive, you don't know how to resolve issues. And these are critical things. How do you want to live life with someone who does not forgive? Am I communicating? That just genuinely ask the person, nothing about it, just tell the person you are trying to do some assessment. And you would like to have a honest feedback how the person will assess you in these areas. Some of them are even shocked when they come back. Man, I thought I was a nice person. Yeah, maybe we cannot always just view what the person says as well. But then the assessment you are even doing currently is giving some factors again to confirm what that person has said. Am I communicating? So approach issue with the intention to resolve it. Listen to validate the feelings of your partner. And when you are listening attentively. You are not listening because you want to say something. So I've mentioned a few about the conflict arc. How you can diffuse, how you can, someone is already, you can sense that your partner is, getting angry. Just ask them a question of their opinion on certain things. Just try and remind them of something. I remember one man who said, anytime my wife is angry, I just quickly show her, I just saw this new hotel, this new restaurant, we are going to try it out. She said, no matter the conflict. She said, hey, let me see. The tension. They may never take her there in another 6 months. But it doesn't work for him. I just saw this restaurant on Instagram. Wow. And to direct. That moment, Mumu button. You shall have button. Even if you shall have button. You have a key and it's working. Amen? So find the one for your partner. It may not apply in all situations, definitely. But in a lot of times, it just makes the atmosphere a bit relaxed. And then we can approach and talk about it later. I didn't hear that, sir. Let's go and buy ice cream. If that one gets your partner, but there is a new taste you have seen in Cold Stone, let's go. By the time you now enter car, you are talking about something else. Before you know it, the atmosphere is what? It's calmer. The tension is released. You are feeling a bit lighter. It may be later in the day. By the time you are approaching that same conflict, it is not with the same level of what? That time it was fire. Now it has turned to what? Ice water. You can also just distract the person with something you know they would like to hear. Not every time you just walk away. You say, what's it better? You have put another fire. But let me just quickly run away. No. And also be agreeable, be vulnerable when it's time to talk about conflict. Like I said, the attitude of someone who wants to resolve is the attitude of someone who wants to be agreeable. Not that your partner now comes, let's talk about it. You are now insisting on your way. You are insisting. You are being stubborn. I can be stubborn. You are now saying, no, it is either my way or the highway. You are not going to have a relationship. Even if you are still married, it will not be peaceful and healthy. Am I communicating? Be agreeable. Say, want to listen to that person's feeling. Observe, what is my partner feeling? What's the needs this person has? How can I amend and just this situation, let it die? How can I kill it now? Express your mind in a respectable way. Like I said, it is not the conflict. It is how we fight. No matter how we fight, no matter in my home, we can't yell, we can't shout. I was preaching somewhere maybe last year, and I was saying that, no, it wasn't. I was granted an interview in a TV station recently, and the lady asked me, we're talking about something, marriage and all of that. And she said, so do I mean that I also quarrel with my husband? I said, won't you be shocked if I tell you I don't quarrel with the man I married? I didn't marry a perfect man. I'm not an angel, so I won't sit here and tell you we don't have our misunderstandings. And she said, so how do you then resolve it? Because for some people it's gbas-gbos. I say, no, I don't do gbas-gbos. But we have to what? Sit down. And you don't tell me when you are expressing a negative emotion, you are all smiling and laughing. Isn't it? But the same way, you also shouldn't be yelling, shouting, cursing. And your body language is saying you are stupid, you are crazy, I don't care, your words and all of those things. So I said, no, we quarrel, but we have a way at which you resolve it. And I said, since I've been married, I can only remember once that my husband raised his voice at me. Yeah, I've been married 15 years. I can only remember once, and that once I cannot forget because I knew I goofed. When you know you over-goof, you goof. He shouts on them in his office so that salary can complete. Amen? But it ends there. Because I've experienced it once in this office when they got to a bank and said he was going to close down all the accounts in the bank. And from the manager to GM to MD, everybody was running it, asking. My husband was shouting. I said, Jesus, let it end in the office, let it end in the bank. So it's possible that we can resolve our conflict and not. I'm the strong-willed person. I'm the strong personality. I'm the one that is, I can be loud, not aggressive. I can want to, express my point in a very firm manner. But it's possible. And that does not mean that I've been disrespectful, I will curse and I want to pull down the house. So it's possible that we resolve our conflict amicably. That we will not bruise the other person's ego. You will not have finished the person. And that after the conflict, the person still remembers how they feel, the words that you have said. Even though you have apologized, but somehow you have dented their spirit. By a statement, a word. I always remember this, my client. He's still a very messy, not even messy, bad case. Because how would you be calling your wife pig? Pig. The man has never physically been abusive, but has been so emotionally and verbally abusive that the woman right now, it is well, has a lot of psychological problems we are dealing with because of the words. Yeah, he may come back and apologize and buy a new dress or take her for lunch. Am I communicating? But in her heart, how does she feel towards you? Because some of us as women, we have the power. Those words, we have it. But I have also learned that there are some things you can't do with, those very hot words. It just causes a gap between you and your partner over time. Am I communicating? So also how to handle conflict. I'll take a few more so that we can take questions, if any. We have to take responsibility. You know that thing that someone tells you have done something that hurts them, and you say, I hurt you. Admit. Take responsibility. They are little things, but they are the game changer for our relationships. Admittance that you have done something to hurt your partner. Admit it. Take responsibility. Own up to it. And then apologize. You know that thing that some of us say we don't know how to apologize? You have to learn it. Especially if you're going to thrive in relationship. And it's part of you knowing how to self-manage and self-regulate. There is nobody that can build a beautiful relationship without understanding what it means to self-regulate, to talk to yourself by yourself and put some behaviors in check. If it requires you getting into therapy, do it. If it requires you praying and fasting, do it. If it requires you getting an accountability partner, do it. Because even if it doesn't affect you with your spouse, it's certainly going to affect you somewhere. Right? So don't say that, you do the verse and try to justify what you have done. No. Take it in. And then what? Apologize. How many of you know how to apologize? To say, I'm really sorry. No, sorry, yo. Ekpele. After I say sorry. And Yoruba will say, pele nikini. So it means there is a way you can apologize and it is not really an apology. Because in your heart of hearts, you are not apologizing. You are just saying it just to make the person feel, okay, I've had you, and it's okay, let's move on. What next? And then a few days after, you do the same thing. And like we know, change behavior is the best apology. True or true? I'm sorry, and you do it again. I'm sorry, and it happens again. I'm sorry, no. The best apology is what? Change character. Change behavior. Admit that what you have done is not good. And then help. Help yourself. I've talked about the three, elements. Be observant. Feel the feeling. Find out the feeling your partner is feeling when they are hungry. And do something about the need that they want you to meet for them. Because most of the time when someone is angry, there is something you have not done. Or they have sensed a threat to your relationship. There is something you are doing that, I don't like. Ask them, listen. Someone may think it's hard, but that's what makes relationship hard work. Finding that time to listen and sit down and analyze and take your own side of thing. Oh yes, I was wrong. When I talk about admittance, don't just say, okay, I know I did something bad. No, highlight what you did. Highlight it. Say it. I knew I was wrong by the way I spoke with you in public. I really apologize for how I've made you feel. Forgive me. Don't just brush over it. And someone is wondering, is that how you are going to be apologizing? Oh, yes. 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 You own it. You understand what you've done. You know how it makes the other person feels. And you apologize for it and then change. Because sometimes some of us that do this thing, we can't take it. We can't. I'm sorry, for some of us men. Yes, I like to also preserve my husband's ego because all of us have ego. Don't think it's only you men that have it. All of us want to be respected. Hello, ladies. You don't want them to respect you. I want to be respected. I want to be loved. And I want to be respected. So, and in how we also resolve, don't say that because I'm the woman, I should just take it like that. King Babe. The one I will babe is me that will determine the one I will collect like that, not you. Am I communicating? Yeah, that's why I said it earlier. Some conflict you have to ignore. It's not everything you want to be sitting down and be debating about. True or true? Some you forgive in advance. It's something little. You may not know. It may just be, an oversight. You let it go. But there are some you have to find a time to talk about. However, whatever it is you are talking about, you must still be civil, respectful, kind, while at it. Even though I know it may not be a conversation we are going to be laughing and chatting about. Because what? It is something that hurts you. Always find a healthy compromise. You don't want to always, let it be a win-win. Don't insist on your way all the time. Because your other person also has emotions. Even the one that has offended you has emotions. Am I communicating? The person who has hurt you also is feeling some self-guilt, self-condemnation. Why did I mess up? Why did I do this? Blah, 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 blah. So you also want to preserve the remaining positive emotions that person has. So while you are also trying to resolve and talk and amicably go through your disagreement or conflict, you want to what? Be fair on both sides. Listen to the person. The reason why they have done what they have done. Or for whatever has happened. But at the end of the day, my definition of conflict is that is a process we are trying to resolve a dispute. And the two people or all the people involved must come to a satisfactory position. If that hasn't happened, you have not resolved conflict. So until me and my husband say, okay, yeah, everybody feels fair with the way we have resolved this conflict. We have not done well. So somebody walks away feeling cheated. Somebody walks away feeling, I have to always, be the one to bear a lot of the pain, to carry on and to forgive and all of that. So when you find a wife who keeps bringing up issues from the past, just sit her down one day to tell you everything. It's because somebody has not listened. Somebody has not heard. And so she feels she has a lot. Except on some extreme cases where you just have some very troublesome women. Am I communicating? But a lot of times you just want to unburden. Let them exhale. When she wants to talk, you carry your key. And you are looking at your phone, you are watching the TV, you are all over the place but not listening. And you will now say women can remember things. Why won't she remember? Because she stored it away. You never allowed her to let it out. So great husbands, they listen. And I know they are all here. Amen? And if the conflict are too much, you see you are having a lot of conflict, repetitive, every day, and you are not able to resolve it. It might not be something that has to do with the two of you. It might be a belief, an experience someone has, that every time you have a certain type of conflict, just triggers them and takes them 10 years back. That person needs to heal from something so that they can connect with you. And see you maybe like their wife or their husband. That's like someone who is not here to hurt them again. Because they keep comparing. There are several triggers that just triggers them and they are scattered all over the place. I had a client one time, the moment the husband does a certain thing, she just keeps talking. Nobody calms her down until about 24, 72 hours. She just keeps talking and ranting and saying different things. It almost became a mental disorder. And the husband said, I didn't just know what to do. I would apologize, buy everything. She will go that pattern until after 3 days before she comes down. And it's a pattern that she has had for a long time when she was young. So this is a man that, yes, your husband will offend you. You didn't marry a perfect person. Even though we need to do what? The more we learn about our partner, the more we live together. We know the signs, right? We know the things that can get your partner into a negative phase. You avoid them. Because sometimes some of us hide under, we will offend each other now. I didn't say you should not be crazy. Oh, I'm sorry, let me take that back. But you know what I mean? That we will fight now. So does that mean we should fight every day? And things will happen now. I'm not perfect now. I'm a work in progress. You don't have to abuse it. Thank you, sir. Because sometimes some of us know that our partners, will be kind to us. They will extend grace. They would overlook. They will treat us like Christ. And so we keep what? We keep stabbing. We keep hurting. You know, when somebody tells you, I'm done, it's because, no, it has reached. They have reached that point where they don't want to break, but they also want to keep their sanity, and they don't want to keep the relationship that keeps hurting them. So we can manage our conflict well. What? We can manage our conflict better. We can go home, and when there is another fight. Another thing is that whatever happens and you don't discuss in 72 hours, maybe it's not important. I had to get to that point as well early in our marriage, because in trying to be silent, I was affecting, yes, the atmosphere. I was affecting a lot of things. And my own justification was, I don't want to say things I wouldn't like. Do you understand? I don't want to say things I don't like. So let me just give me some time. And so my husband would think, okay, after 1 or 2 hours, I should have my time. But it's the whole day, and I don't still have my time. So I had to what? I had to come down and ask myself, what exactly am I trying to achieve? Yes, somebody has done something you don't like. Sometimes I remember those things we were fighting about, and I'm like, really? So we were having those misunderstandings about those very flimsy, but like they say, it was a season. That was a time in our relationship, and we had to have our own time and grow and learn. Because silence treatment kills marriage. Unconsciously, you are telling that person, cope without me. That's what you are saying. When we stonewall, stonewall is a higher version of silent treatment. Stonewalling means you are not even talking. You don't want to do anything that connects with that person. Anything about them you do, and you can be in the same space. That makes it even more terrible. You can be in the same space. Don't talk to me, don't touch me, don't touch my things. I don't want to look at you. I don't want to connect you. I don't want to make eye contact. I don't want anything to do with you. And the longer we stay apart, the harder it becomes to come back together. So few hours is better, right? You pack up and you connect again and you go on with your groove. But 3 days, 5 days, you don't know what has happened in that person's life, and you're not in the know. And sometimes coming back can be can be more tedious, can be more strenuous. And you are now back again, few hours or few days, another conflict. You see why it's very important that we know how to reduce the conflict and manage it well and faster, so that we can move on and enjoy this marriage that we have. Because sometimes some of us can even unconsciously get to a point where we are expecting conflict. Our marriage has now been programmed that at a certain time you have to fight. So how many of us want to enjoy more peace and calmness and tranquility in our relationships? Amen. I believe that's what God wants for us. But what do we want for ourselves, and how do we make it happen? So have you learned a thing or two today on how to manage conflict? So when next conflict happens, remember some of these things we have touched about. You want to say something? Remember some of these things we have talked about. If you don't remember anyone, remember to observe what is happening. What is my partner trying to say? Why is this person feeling this way? And what's the feeling? And lastly, there is a need this person wants me to meet. Meet that need. When you meet the need, there will be no reason for her feeling a negative feeling. And there will be no story for you to want to be curious to find out about. And second one that I think people mostly struggle with is to admit and to apologize. And also change, genuinely. To admit, to apologize, and to change. If you can take these two home and be more, conscious of it, to do and to deliver, our marriages will improve. Amen. Amen. All right. So let's take a few questions if there is any. Okay, someone is asking, is it okay or should I say what's your view about a spouse who closes at work by 5 p.m. and returns home like 4 to 5 times a week by 11 p.m. or 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 10 a.m. the next day, okay? According to him, he is avoiding traffic and sitting with friends to clear his head and grab business opportunities out there. Even pastor is saying lori iro. People should be calming down now. Okay. So the one that, gets at me is that this person comes back the next day. Right? So even if he's coming back 11 p.m., okay, we don't know where your husband, we don't know, I'm sure this is a woman asking. Yeah, right. Of course, yeah. So this woman is asking. We don't know where your husband works, the sort of what job he does. Yeah, maybe you may think he closes 5 p.m. and it's not. I'm not justifying anything, but let's just, analyze it a bit. He closes 5 p.m. How true is that? Okay. His own justification is avoiding traffic and sits with friends to clear his head and business opportunities. That sounds like something some men would do, right? And not every day. Okay. That's what we are getting at. So what he's saying is doing. Maybe on a few days we can say, okay, it's fine. Right? But now you say he comes back 4 to 5 times in a week, 11 p.m. Or, so he comes home the following day, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., sometimes 3, 4, 6, or 10 a.m. the next day. So there's a lot happening here. Obviously, there's a lot happening in this relationship. Because I do not think this woman will be asking these questions if this man had given her enough information and enough, evidences that is genuine to all of these things he's doing. Even if you have to slip out for whatever reason. Because for some people it happens like that. We have had people, okay, a few times my husband will say they are doing what's that thing you normally do. Strategy, right? And then you may have to, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And you don't do strategy session every day. It's not Monday, Tuesday, where maybe once in the quarter or once in a 6 months or thereabout. So if this woman have a lot of, conversation with you, perhaps she won't be asking. So she's at the point where, number one, she doesn't know where you are till 11 p.m. She's not sure that you are really hanging out for business, opportunities. And then you're coming back the next day. And what conversation are you having with her when you, Abby? 10 a.m. the following day. Where have you been? What were you doing? With who? For what purpose? So the conversation is not clear to her. And like we all, sighed, that's our gesture. When we listen to the question, we were already putting 2 plus 2 together. So sometimes men do not know that. So if you're not talking to her and giving her information, she's going to make up stories in her head. And she will take them as the truth. So whatever is happening, sir, if you are here or online or wherever you are, something has to change. She's not okay with it. Something has to change. So if you're asking for my perspectives, yes, your husband needs to tell you what is happening. If he closes 5 p.m., we know traffic is in Lagos, right? Traffic has reduced. Because the traffic in more. It is even a man like you that is saying it. You are finished, my brother. It is a man that is even telling you, because the traffic in more, traffic has finished. So go home. And then you get home 11 p.m.
From home. It's possible he himself doesn't want to come home. These excuses, traffic, friends, business, well, there's something chasing him. So maybe he himself needs to tell his wife. Why? Because this is a weekly occurrence. So, oh, serious.
There could be. You know that guys.
It doesn't feel at home.
So it's possible, because now we can only just look at some of the possibilities of what is happening. So is it possible the man also doesn't feel at home? Is there trouble at home? Right, that's the main thing, sir. Good. So it's possible. So could it also be a feedback for you, auntie? But if he's not feeling anyhow at home, has he communicated to this woman? There needs to be a sit down, a serious one. A serious conversation has to happen. So rather than say because of traffic, say what it is. Rather than say, oh, I'm grabbing a drink with my friends, say what it is. When I come home, this is where I feel. When I come home, because of so and so and so. Maybe several conflicts. Aha. So there are several conversations, because this type of friends as well, that you hang around till 11 p.m., 12, 1, and sometimes come back the following day. You do, I don't understand that one. Same. I'm sorry, my sister, but you have to talk. You have to talk, and something needs to change. And truth is that it may have nothing to do with you as well. Because sometimes you might have made the home very uncomfortable, because peace triggers some people negatively. Some people are fond of chaotic environments, scattered environment. So when you create a sense of peace for them, they don't like it. Yes. Some people, that's why they need to get into therapy. There are people who feel that they are not okay when everything around them is calm, is peaceful. It's an unconscious challenge. They are not even aware. That's why you find people who will rather date an individual who is hard on them. Because to them, that's the ideal that their subconscious recognizes. So sometimes, yes, some people don't like that peace. Not that they don't like it per se, but there is something in their subconscious that repels it. They feel that, you are taking care of me too much. When I'm around you, is there some, yes. They may not explicitly tell you, but you just realize that when you put them in a certain situation, it makes them uncomfortable. So peace can trigger some people negatively. It's what we do is cases. So you just realize that this woman has done everything. But the man feels, when I come home, everywhere is just, I need some ginger, let's just scatter some things. I just need, it won't feel calm. It won't feel that sense of wellness. And when you check it, it's history. There's a pattern. There's a trauma he's dealing with. Haven't you found people, they find a reasonable, beautiful relationship, something just happens, and they're out. Because they can't just stay with a warm personality sometimes. Are we good? Solution is they need to talk. Number one, they need to have a conversation. The man needs to open up. He needs to tell us what exactly. And if that is the life he wants, it's not healthy to build a relationship. You have a wife, you have someone at home waiting for you. You are on the road till 11, 12, 1. You want to give somebody's child high blood pressure. No, that strategy has to change. The dynamics has to be rewired or reworked. I'm not being rigid. How do I manage a partner that does not want to adjust in keeping the house tidy and clean at all? That's even when you keep. Oh, and when you talk, it's a problem. Bele, my sister, you will leave it dirty. If I want to answer you like Kemi, you leave it dirty. If you know clean, make it no clean. It might not be sister, it be okay, might be a brother asking that it's even the sister that is scattering the thing. Hello, sir, please talk to us. I like that energy. It's a woman that typed it. Oh, really? Oh, it's a man? He might. Oh, okay. So it might be a man and it might be a woman. So do you know that they are not fighting because of clean environment or clean or washing or what are they fighting? What's beneath? There's an underlying factor. Somebody is dirty. What again? A bit of personality also. Laziness. He's hiding under personality. Or even their way of seeing how the environment should be. Because some people's neatness is a screamo. Because if you talk to these people now, what this woman is calling is untidy. The man says, everywhere is okay. That even when you keep it, the person will still scatter. So we can only infer. Is someone dirty? Is someone extremely clean? How is it being communicated? I hope this cleaning problem or this tidiness issue is not affecting some other things. I can almost presume it will. How is it being communicated? Because sometimes we also need to pick our fight with sense. There are some things not worth fighting about. So, okay, what's the extreme case of this unkept environment? Because, so if I use myself and my husband, I won't give him the mic. I will not give him. My husband is a very tidy one. Extremely. Small OCD, but it's okay. It's not. He can be, But your humble self, so you almost made me feel, am I dirty? I'm not nobody, all my friends, I live with people all growing up. Nobody ever told me, no, there's something that I had to tell myself, Kemi, it is not you. There's nothing wrong with you. But it was until we started having children, my husband had to readjust. When children come. So you go in the morning, you come back at night, you don't know that house has been swept like 101 time. So on a weekend when you are home, you see how the deal goes down. Uncle Emma Agbale. So one day I had to say to my husband, honey, we have children. And they are expected to pour water and poo unannounced and mess up everywhere. So Ikoloma for one more neat environment or these children. And so he had no choice. And sometimes I look at my husband and I'm like, I'm even neater. I think I've rubbed off. So you need to talk. Sit down. A conversation has to happen. And be clear with it. What's this for you? What's this for me? How can we compromise? How can we meet in the middle? These people may even need an external help to come and be cleaning their house. There are lots of strategies. Send your money on errand. Don't kill yourself. So if you want to be a cleaning, charter, everything, it may not even be the two of you that will be doing it. And the guy maybe man or woman, also now needs to learn to level up a bit, few things, and everywhere will be fine. Don't let cleaning or washing plates now stop, the other room matters, because this issue will start to spread. And if you need to speak with a counselor, please do. It might be a tiny issue, if not, well addressed and managed, can escalate. Okay, do we have any other? I didn't hear that. Oh, okay. What can you advise when your partner keeps chatting our ex at least once a month? And when you mention it, she would say, if he is the person that will help her uncle. My helper, oh, Abi. So I like that song. It says there is something that makes me come into your presence. So there is something that this person is looking for. That's why she keeps.
Onibara and Bolebo.
The thief has entered. Okay, so. Wow. Uh-huh. Okay, so this is the man asking that the wife is chatting with her ex. So let's even do a survey quickly, quick one. All the men in here, if you think it's okay, my wife, that you don't want ex, especially the ex that they had, sexual relationship with, just chat once a month, nothing, just get chatty, it's okay, right? Uncle, it's okay with you, right? Your wife just once a month. Anybody would agree to that? Once a month will not harm anybody, isn't it? It's nothing now. Just. So is it the frequency or the act in itself? Okay, how about once in 3 months? Okay, so we need to, for you to be asking, it means that I want to believe you've mentioned it, you've had a conversation about it, and it's still happening. So it's either this woman doesn't prioritize this relationship, she doesn't respect the husband, even respect herself. She may think, well, it's nothing serious. Once a while, just chat, maybe online, connect with you, blah, blah, blah. And genuinely, she may not have any ulterior motive. But the fact that your husband has brought it up, there's an observation, isn't it? Did you get it? Your husband has observed something and fair enough, he has communicated it. The feeling is given to this man now, we don't know what it is. But some of the feeling an individual has when you realize your partner is still in touch with your ex is that it makes them feel that they're not good enough for you. And nobody ever wants to feel that way. Trust me. And unconsciously begin to unlove you gradually. Because you just think that your mind is somewhere. This is somebody in your past. Why didn't you marry him? I stand here to tell you right now that I don't want to say I've lost count of myself and colleagues who are trying to deal with issues of people who are married less than 3 years sleeping with their exes. Yes. Yes. And sometimes it's on this, just chat. So if you respect your relationship, if you value your partner enough, if you love that person, you won't want to put them through this emotional stress. And of you even trying to offer them that thought of, perhaps, are you cheating? It's not worth it. So what do you want? What's happening with your relationship? What's the attraction to this person? Would you rather lose your partner for this man or woman? What exactly are you looking for? So my brother, let's hope that your wife gets this message and does the needful. Because nobody wants to be in that situation where they have to be thinking of competing with someone. The worst case, this person may not even know who this person is, may not know where the person is, may not even have an idea the sort of conversation that happens.
Something I think the wife is also trying to say, if you look at the last part, if he is the person that will help her. So, that uncle is on another level, but let me just... Could it be that she's saying there's a need in her own life that the husband is not meeting? And she's trying to get... That doesn't excuse her behavior. It's helping her business. You know the person or what? That doesn't really excuse it. I think you've answered that very well. I mean, why? But maybe she's also saying, okay, my husband, there's something I need. Maybe a financial thing. So maybe she's just trying to keep her options opened. But all the same, it's still dangerous. No, to meet the need. I'm not saying... because I think that's why her response is that what if is the one that God will use to help? It's dangerous. It's a dangerous game, but so the husband too needs to look into that.
Thank you, sir. That's really that's also something to consider, because the help, observe it, know the feeling. There is a need. Did you see? There is a need for the both of them, and it needs to be what? Attended to. The need may not even be money. So I remember one of the people, having to talk to this ex, is the way the guy talks to her. Because for this one is a woman. Yeah, the same. Is a woman who cheated. That is the way the guy just talked to me that my husband doesn't. We are not justifying it. But there is a need in our life that guy met. And so from talking to her, nothing, and before you know it, yeah. So find out the need. And remember, that's why I said don't invalidate what your partner feels. Pay attention. Someone is telling you are hurting me for not doing, or you are hurting me for doing, and you say, you too do. If your heart does not get the right thing from the right source, you will long for it in the wrong source. We are human. So don't play with your partner's feelings. Don't toy with it. Don't say because you're already married. There is no marriage that is immune against divorce. None. There's no vaccine for it. All right. It is well. So, God wants us to enjoy our marriage. And, all through scriptures is that you would be married, and it is only death that should do you apart. Not situations, not challenges, it should be death. And it means that you should do everything to have a beautiful relationship. Nobody wants to walk away. It's just like customer service. When you are treated right, you want to come back. So if you treat your partner well, nobody wants to go, really. It's the job we do. When you hear people, I'm done, I want to leave. That person is just saying, I don't just like how it is here. I don't just like how it is here. Nobody wants to leave. But life happens. Sometimes it's not fair. But so marriage will have to die. It's painful, unfortunately, because it gets to a point that you now have to save the two people in the relationship. Save them physically, save them mentally, and save them socially. Which is the three things that make a healthy human being. Aside that some people can just be, little things want them to, but when is it enough? Unfortunately, I don't have the answer. Because I don't know the many situations. So I can't tell you it is enough or not. But what I would rather say is that you need to seek help. If you are feeling this way, seek help. Talk to someone. Confide in someone. Share the way you feel with someone a trusted partner. If they can't help, seek professional help. Someone that will not be biased. I sit in my couch every day. I don't know you from anywhere. I don't have your interest at heart, really. But ultimately, I have your interest somehow. So what do you want? So when we evaluate and help you check, and realize that there is chance, we encourage you to give it some time and then put some changes in place. But when we see that this might eventually cost you your sanity, you have to do what you need to do. But please seek help. It might not even be a bad case. And that's why I want to plead with men, especially men that you know that your wife is in therapy. And you need to also join that journey, and you are not. You are not doing yourself any good. We have finished your matter in the therapy room. Because the only information your counselor or your therapist has is what the wife shares. And she has finished that, and we are not hearing from you. I just successfully got a man into therapy about 2 weeks ago who had been working with the wife for 6 months. And when he came, he changed the dynamics of everything I had done in 6 months, because I heard from the man firsthand. And a lot of the information I have wasn't true. And there was no way I could have had those information except I have him sit in session. So I tell him, especially when your wife is saying, I'm in therapy, help yourself. Talking to somebody else. You don't know what she's saying about you. Because trust me, they will talk to us and you will feel like getting a gun and shooting down the man. Until you hear from her, like, really? Auntie? But you know, she also shared from her own point of pain, which validates it for me as a counselor. So check into therapy. Talk to someone. Help might just be available. It might not be that bad that you have to pack out. It might not be. It might not be. And it could be. But like I said, I am not in the know. So I can't tell you, you can leave or you can stay. I know someone dropped a message. I'm trying to find it. Good. So maybe this will be the last one. They're already calling me. I have a program at LCC High. I need to dash down. So my husband finds it difficult to receive financial help from me. I earn more. I have managed our situation as best as I can for over 4 years. He hasn't been working. But he will never appreciate my efforts. He will borrow from people to do his business, get into heavy debt, bringing me shame and side talks. I provide for everything. Yet, I'm not a good wife because I don't send money to his family. And he will say I'm not partnering with him financially. So there is a lot to this question. Oh. Kai, my husband finds it difficult to receive financial help from me. That's already a belief. Some men cannot receive money from women, even their wife. Some men got into marriage believing that it is the man that should earn more, have more, and be giving. Pastor Ishawa, that should be giving the wife. That's actually where all of this might be, stemming from. There's a belief this man has. There's an ideology in his head that I'm not supposed to number one, you're not supposed to be working as a woman. You are now working. You are earning more. You now want to give me. So like she said, I have managed our situation as best as I can, even though I don't have all the information. So let me first of all, disclaimer. I don't, because there's a lot you have said. I don't have all the information. Your husband is not here now to say his own side of things. But you have said you earn more and you have managed your situation as best as you can for 4 years. It hasn't been working. Like you said, he never appreciates your effort. He will borrow from people. The money the wife can borrow or give or even dash. Are we together? To do business, he will get into debt, shame, side talk for her. I provide for everything, yet I'm not a good wife because I don't send money to his family. From which money? And he says I'm not partnering with him financially. Well, the man has said his own need. So there is a lot. The man wants you to partner with him. How? So maybe get your salary, maybe, right? And give me. But this is the man that is not collecting now. Because like she said, he finds it difficult to receive financial help from me. God has blessed you. Men, what do you guys want? Hey, Mr. Lanyode, I should calm down, Abi. Hey, Pastor, I should. Not all men are like that. They're on the streets. They're not here. Because when Mr. Lanyode is shouting, I should get a spank. So really, God has blessed you, blessed your wife. You know, making money is not gender based. You are hardworking, God blesses the work of your hand, and the money is coming into your family. Partner with this woman and elevate your. It's a mindset for him. So my darling sister, number one, there needs to be a paradigm shift for this man before you can get across to him. And unfortunately, it's not in your hand. Because you can have all the money and be willing to offer everything. And this man will still feel that there is something about collecting money from a woman that demeans him. So what do you now do? He borrows from others. He gets into debt. Perhaps you are trying to still help him to fund the debt. He's still resisting. And like she said, she's not a good wife because this man still expects you to take care of his family. Maybe his family are not even aware that he's out of job for 4 years. So my sister, you are going to continue to do your best. Take care of the things you can take care of. I wish I have more information. Because also, the man is afraid. Yeah, someone should cancel the man. The man is afraid. Maybe from his past experience, women who give men money, they eventually disrespect them and control them. So he doesn't want. And these women, with this woman you are married to may not be like that. She may not be the controlling one. Or rub it in your face. It might just be your own perception. And now you are cursing. So I want to believe younger men who are not married are also learning. And like I said earlier, sir, that some issue we have in marriage has nothing to do with your what? Your spouse. This is a good example. Issue from trauma. That women, this man may even be thinking that when you collect from your wife, she's using your glory. Hey, Marobo Santa Yaba. Beleo, my sister, wherever you are, it is well with you. Please speak to someone. There is a lot. I wish I can have more time, but there is a lot. I also need to speak to the man. Hoping that someone like this will like to talk to a counselor. Somebody needs to talk to this man. You know, we have seen cases like this that the family that should have grown financially, the family that should have expanded, but because of one, how do we address this, sir? Man, you limit the speed. God has blessed your family. God didn't bless your wife. He blessed your family. This woman is earning more. Calm down. Partner with her. Do the business you want to do. If she can financially manage, so that your family can grow exponentially and not be dragging. You are doing business, you are getting into debt. Borrowing money. You see that beliefs and culture are powerful? These people are Christians. So when he comes to church and say, Lord, bless me, what was he expecting? And God is blessing your wife. Kai! But because it's coming from a woman, I trust some men, Kenny. Every money is our money. That's the truth. There are some women who are the money bank in their family, but married to a man who is culturally, borrow me English, backward. I don't want to be angry. Lastly, is there a medication or a solution for high libido? Oh, yeah. Low or high? Because for me, my sex drive is high and my wife doesn't validate this. I'm getting addicted to masturbation that I have once overcome. She only wants sex at our own space. Whew. So the first statement might not be true then. It might not be you have a high libido. Because sometimes you think you have a high libido because you are not having enough sex or your partner saying no. Right? So there are a few things we can help you do, really, if you have a high libido. Anyways, the observation here is what? Sex, frequency, high and low partner, right? What's the feeling? There are several feelings because you don't know. A few is of, I need sex, I'm not getting it, I'm sorting myself out with masturbation, I don't feel attracted to her, maybe I'm not performing well. A lot of other things might be the feeling. But the cocoa here is there is a need. This man wants more sex. More frequent sex. Are we together? So, we need to find out the reason why your wife would only want sex at her own pace. These are common occurrences in some relationships, but we need to address it, especially now that the man is addicted to masturbation. And it's unfortunate after he has overcome it. And masturbation will lead to something else. Before you know it, porn will get into it. And once porn has entered, he's on his way to another one. So I want to believe conversation will have happened a lot of time. So, and we don't know the reason why the woman is not, there may be other factors as well that is affecting her. It could be health, it could be hormone, it could be, a lot of things could be happening with her. But truly, you cannot have sex at your pace if you are married. There are sometimes you will have sex even when you don't want it, but your partner wants it. Am I communicating? That's why it's called marriage. If you always have sex when you want it, there are times you have to just get in the mood because you want your partner to be pleasured, to satisfy your partner. So, please check into counseling. Because we need to also hear from your wife. So if wife is here, have a conversation with your husband. Validate this feeling. Understand how you're not being responsive to him sexually has affected him. And it's also likely the more tendencies ahead, and they may not be nice. So if you now know you have issues with your sexual life, let's find help. So I can't mention the medication we use sometimes to treat extreme high libido. I can't mention it because I don't know where this video will get to. It's a very sensitive, aspect. But yeah, there are medications, which I will not even highlight because your case is not the type of cases we use those medications for. Right? But if you're already thinking of medicating yourself, that means it's really, it's really serious. Please, wifey, do something. Do something. And if the both of you can't come to a solution, talk to someone. Talk to someone like right now. The Lord will help us all in Jesus' name. Amen. Have you been blessed? Yeah. Thank you. See you next month.
All right, man. Thank you. Okay. Plenty things we have learned today, have we? So when we get home, we know how to quarrel. Are we? How to reason together. All right. I think one thing that is very clear is that communication is really a foundation to a lot of the things that couples go through. Some of these questions that are being asked, the other thing I would say is, like she said, please reach out for help. Reach out for help. I know in this part of the world, they'll tell you it's just you and your wife. Keep everything inside your house. Don't let another person hear. True, but there's a truth to that, but it's not the complete truth. You also do need help. I think in this part of the world, we need to normalize going for therapy. It's not only when person don't that they go for therapy. Yeah, even talking among peers to also help. So please reach out. Particularly If you are the person that wrote about your husband not coming home, please reach out to any of your pastors, any of the pastors, or if you don't want to talk to a specific, or reach out to somebody, please. Speak to your zonal pastor, or you can come speak with me. At least some of those things we can intervene as a church. We can intervene as a church. If you won't listen to you, listen to Pastor T. Okay? So please come out. Some of these things that have also been raised, if you are here, don't worry, we won't preach about it on the pulpit. Some people are scared about that. And if it means we have to refer you to Coach Kemi, we'll do that. You can be sure that she won't discuss your case. All right? Okay, so have we been blessed today? All right, thank you so much. We were close to 100 today, and that is a good number. Please, can you appreciate yourself for me? Now, one other thing I would like for us to do, I think from next month, we want to also use this as an opportunity to reach out to other couples. I'm sure you have friends that are either young couples or singles and the rest. I want you to consciously invite them. Consciously invite them. I believe if we have better relationships and better marriages, we'll have a better country. Okay? Hallelujah. Okay, let's rise as we close the service, as we close for today. Huh? Father, we give you praise. We thank you for this time spent together. Thank you for our speaker. Thank you for the words that have come true. Lord, we ask for grace. We ask for help to not just be hearers but doers of the word in the name of Jesus. Help us to identify and to be sensitive to the needs of our partners and the people we're in relationship with. Help us to better our relationships and our marriages.